The TCT Network brings you Rejoice.
A connection of encouragement to build your faith and lift you to a new experience in God.
Our program is specifically designed to bring you hope
And the healing power of God through His Word and prayer.
Now, here's today's Rejoice, hosted by Tom Nolan.
Hello, thank you for tuning in to Rejoice. We have a great program in store for you, so stay tuned. I'm coming to you again from WLXI in Greensboro, North Carolina, our great station here. I've been joined by several great guests as we've been here and learning about Israel. We want to promote Israel, and as Christians, we want to continue to pray for Israel. I want to remind you there is a number at the bottom of your screen you can call for prayer, 1-800-232-9855. And no matter what your need may be, there's prayer partners that are standing by to take your call, pray for you. If you're doing great today, you don't have anything on your mind, go ahead and call it anyway. Just pray for Israel, pray for TCT. We would love to hear from you, so do that right now. But I want to introduce to you a couple men that have been helping me host the programs while I've been here. Ben Kinchlow, host of many years of the 700 Club, and a great television host and a great supporter of Israel, founder of Americans for Israel. So thank you for being with us today.
It's my privilege and my honor, and you mentioned calling in for prayer. I was just back there talking to some of the telephone counselors, and they are people who are there specifically because they're here to pray for people because they care about them. That's not just a job for them. They don't get paid to do this. They're here because they care about people, and they believe that God answers prayer. So you're talking about getting your prayers answered, call. What does it say, Earl? If two more agree is touching?
It says that, Holy Roller Preacher, just
Yes,
like you.
sir.
You can go in there and touch them hard.
That's not Holy Roller Preacher, brother. That is a specific Judeo-Christian transcendent principle.
I noticed he said and there are many years with the 700 Club. You know that many? You know what that means? Tom's smart. He knows what to say.
By the way, that guy talking to me now has been around a long time. You might want to introduce him to some people.
Tom, you're not going to ever have us back again, are you?
Oh, no, I love it. Love having you on. Make it fun. But, I want to say something about the prayer line that you talked about, them volunteering their time. And that's true. That's what I love about our prayer line is when you call that, it's an 800 number, toll free. You don't have to pay anything. And then when you connect with somebody, it's not going to be somebody that's there because they're trying to get a paycheck. It's not going to be somebody that, they were feeling sick that day, but they drug themselves in because it's a job and they have to be there. It's somebody that is there volunteering their time. They're doing it because they're called to God to be there and pray for you. And our prayer partners, I think more, and I don't want to offend anybody that may be a prayer partner for another ministry or anything like that, but I truly believe that those here at TCT, not just because I'm here at TCT, but I truly believe they're the best prayer partners you're going to find anywhere, and you're going to be blessed if you call them and just pray with them. And like I said, even if you don't have a specific need on your heart today, just call in, let us know that you're watching, that you love TCT, and just pray with that prayer partner today. But
and by the way, when talking about that, one of the jobs I had at CBN was I was national director for National Counseling Centers. That meant I went all over the United States and in many cases around the world to talk to our counselors. And you find these people all over the world. They are there because they care about people. So when you call in to talk to somebody, one of these counselors, like you said, it's not somebody they're getting for a paycheck. They're there because they're looking for God to reward them for their service to His kingdom. So there's the number on your screen, 800-232-9855, and talk to one of those folks and
Amen.
Get an answer. And speaking of people who have been around a long time.
That's right. I have. I'm telling you, just a few days longer than you. When
You might want to introduce him formally. This is
Earl Cox is back with us, and Earl is always a pleasure to have here. Of course, you may see him on the little minute updates he sends us from Israel. He's the Christian ambassador from Israel. And, of course, you've been involved in many presidential administrations here in the U.S. and been involved in broadcasting for a long time. So you certainly know what you're doing when it comes to the relationship between America and Israel. You certainly know what you're doing when it comes to the broadcast world and getting that message across through television media. So it's always a joy to have you with us here.
I feel the same way. Ditto.
mega ditto.
There you go.
Absolutely.
And our special guest today joining with us on the program is the executive director of a organization called the Shield of David. You're going to talk to us a little bit about that, but you come to this organization with 35 years of experience in the apparel industry with a Fortune 100 company. You're using Israeli technology, state-of-the-art Israeli technology. And Bart Britt, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, I've been able to learn a little bit about Shield of David and what you do and these backpacks that you're supplying to Israel, but share with our viewers a little bit about exactly what Shield of David is.
Well, we were founded in 2012, and let me go back just a little further than that. I got to meet Earl Cox and Ben Kinchlow at a fundraising event in 2009. Never met him. Had watched Ben on television. And my first trip to Israel was 2009. And I was invited by AIPAC to go over with 15 other people. I had no idea, had never heard the word Hamas or Hezbollah, ever. Had never seen a bomb shelter, did not even fathom that in the state of Israel there was a need for protection. Had no idea. And the reason for that is we're not told that by anybody in the media here in the United States. It's astounding the number of Christians that I come in contact with that don't realize what's going on in the state of Israel. But anyway, met Earl and Ben during a fundraiser. I was involved with Operation Life Shield for a while, who supplies above-ground bomb shelters near Gaza mainly, because since 2002, over 13,000 rockets have been fired into southern Israel.
Wow.
So there's a need for that protection. Well, out of all of that, I was approached in 2012 by the man who invented the technology we're talking about today, which is a bulletproof, ballistic-proof backpack.
You have one right there. You have one right there, right?
Here is, this is a junior, or what we call a child's backpack. We have two models. We have one for children, and we have one for adults. And this is fully bulletproof at an NIJ 3A rating. Now let me explain what that means in layman's terms as best as I can. NIJ stands for the National Institute of Justice. It's under the United States Department of Justice. Every military ballistics testing, the DEA, Homeland Security, FBI, CIA, all military branches, first responders, firefighters, are all tested through HP White Laboratories. It is a premier ballistics testing. We have surpassed the NIJ 3A rating, which means this backpack will stop a .44 Magnum. Ever heard of Dirty Harry?
Yeah.
Clint Eastwood.
Wow.
And what was his gun of choice?
44 Magnum?
44 mag. Well, this will stop a 44 mag, meaning no penetration. Now, how does it do that? This insert.
Amazing, isn't it?
Fully flexible, can be shot.
That's incredible.
And it will not penetrate anywhere.
Will not
Will a
penetrate.
knife go through it?
It will not. Good question, Earl. No knife will go through it.
Really?
And as you brought up earlier, in an earlier program, right now they're going through what they're calling the knife inventada,
Right.
where people are being stabbed. Let me bring it a little closer to home. 3 weeks ago, a good friend of mine, his wife, Leah Bowman, was at the Jaffa Gate, and a Palestinian terrorist hit her in the head with a bottle, knocked her to the ground. Her back was to him. He could have easily had a knife. She was wearing one of our backpacks. Had he tried to stab her, would have never penetrated. So,
But primarily, if you don't mind me interrupting your head, I just
No.
want people to understand that that's used primarily in the south of Israel,
Yes.
down by the Gaza border.
Gaza
I mean, people
is-
don't walk around with bulletproof backpacks all over them in Israel.
no.
And so I just want to make sure, but they do in America. I mean,
Well, and working with, Earl and I have worked on several projects. In fact, we donated over 500 backpacks to Ashkelon school children. And like Earl said, we're concentrating on the areas in Israel that are the most targeted by Hamas.
You know, it might be a good idea if you explain to a lot of people who've never been to Israel just exactly what you're talking about, because you know you're throwing terms and phrases out there that a lot of people don't understand. What are you talking about? I mean, Israel is Israel, right?
Right. Israel is Israel, but there is the Gaza Strip, which is located in southern Israel on the Mediterranean, and surrounding it are cities, Ashkelon, which is mentioned in the Old Testament numerous times. Samson was in Gaza.
But in the South, you have rockets. You don't have stabbings down in the
No,
South.
you have rockets.
So how is that going to help you with? How do you feel it's helping?
Well, it will stop shrapnel.
Okay.
Okay, there's a blast radius.
Okay.
The most prolific weapon used by Hamas is the Qassam rocket, which is a very cheaply made projectile. And I guess the closest example would be a bottle rocket, which all of us as kids shot many times. Put the rocket in the bottle, shoot it, you don't know where it's going to go. Mm-hmm. Same with the Qassam. Earl can tell you firsthand. A shelter saved him from a Qassam rocket. Well, when these Hamas terrorists fire a Qassam rocket, they don't know where it's going because it's a very, very unsophisticated rocket. They cut down signposts, fill it full of a projectile. The head is loaded with shards of metal, ball bearings, screws, nails, soaked in rat poison.
Right.
So, can we honestly say it's going to save every life? No. Will it help to save a life? Yes. The other most important thing that we have to remember too is in these areas that are being targeted all the time is if you're a mother or a father.
Right.
We here in America, when we get up in the mornings, what do we think about? Okay, I gotta have my first cup of coffee. I gotta stop by Starbucks. I gotta go buy Dunkin' Donut. I gotta get a donut bin. I gotta get my kids to school. I gotta do this. I gotta do that.
Right.
In Israel, as a family, when you're living in southern Israel, near Gaza, your first thought is, where's a safe room?
Right.
Where is a bomb shelter? Will I see my children after school today? Okay, let's say you have 3 children and you're walking down the street and all of a sudden the code red alarm goes off because Israeli interceptors know that there are incoming Qassam rockets. Which of those 3 children do you pick up?
And you only have, what, 20 seconds?
If you're in Sderot, if you're lucky, 10 seconds. Ashkelon, 20 seconds. Now, let me ask you this. Can you unbuckle your seatbelt, get out of your car, and find shelter in 20 seconds?
No way.
So, the whole founding of the Shield of yes, Earl.
No, I'm just wondering, how do you know that will stop a bullet? I mean, you don't, somebody's not going to stand up and shoot a gun at you. I know that.
We have ballistics testing that's been done by H.P. White Laboratories, which is on our website, www.theshieldofdavid.org. It's also, the company that manufactures the backpacks is Life Shield Technologies. And really, the man who developed the material was so impressed, Earl and Ben, when we had that fundraiser at the church. Mm-hmm. He had already been working on this technology. And the reason they were looking at the technology is we have a lot of tornadoes in our area. They were trying to figure out how can we protect people running from a tornado, because you have projectiles, the wind, rocks, shingles, wood, all kinds of things. After our fundraiser, he had no idea of what was going on in Israel. So he felt led by the Lord, let's take this technology and let's really work on it and let's help the people in Israel. You know, you all have discussed on previous programs, we are grafted in, irregardless of Jew or Gentile. We wouldn't be here if it weren't for Israel, period. Israel is the only land that I can find in any historical book, particularly the Bible, that God chose. He didn't say, I chose Greece, or I chose England, or I chose the United States. He said, I chose Israel. That's the only land and piece of real estate that I know of that God ever said, I choose you. And because of that, I feel in my heart that we as Christians need to be helping Israel. They're our strongest ally in the Middle East. They are a democracy.
Mm-hmm.
And Ben has said it before, Earl has said it before, Judeo-Christian principles. Our country was founded on Judeo-Christian principles. Our founding fathers used Israel to help write a lot of the papers to found our country. I'll give you a little trivia. A Jew by
Good at that, by the way. Okay.
a Jew by the name of Haim Solomon. Ever heard of Haim Solomon?
Never.
Okay. George Washington and our militia ran out of ammunition, had no money. They didn't know what to do. Haim Solomon was a banker. Haim Solomon knew we needed ammunition. What did Haim Solomon do? He gave money to George Washington and armed our troops. Had he not done that, we'd be banged to the Queen of England today.
Wow.
A Jew, Haim Solomon. We owe Israel. We owe Israel. So the Shield of David was formed to help. It is, I think the best way to put it is, people need a physical gift sometimes. Prayer is great, Ben. Absolute believer in prayer. But there comes a time when people need to be fed. What did Jesus do to the 5,000 before he began to speak to them?
Fed them.
He fed them because they were hungry.
Right.
This backpack gift that we raise, our operating expense, Earl, is less than 2%.
Wow.
We are a Christian and Jewish organization.
Right.
Let me just mention who's on our board of directors. Dr. Daniel Labey, clinical ophthalmologist for Harvard, also a member of the APAC National Council. Dr. Julie Gaskell, another Jewish woman, oral surgeon. Dr. Chris Haynes, dentist. Then we have a businessman who was in the ministry for 32 years who started his own company. So we're a Jewish Christian organization working on behalf of humanitarian efforts in Israel. You're safer in Israel. You know, people think because of the hype that's going on, oh, I can't go to Israel. I feel safer in Israel than I would
Everybody
Detroit,
says that.
Chicago,
Right.
New York, LA, Atlanta,
Right.
because there are more murders going on in those cities than in Israel.
Yeah, I was doing an article on a killing that took place, and it was in 1 week in Chicago. 1 week in Chicago, there were 450 shootings. 450 in 1 week,
Right.
just in the city of Chicago. You know, that's not that many in Israel.
I used to fly, when I was in the apparel business, I used to fly to San Pedro Sula, Honduras. The United Nations has named that the most dangerous city in the world now.
Wow.
160 murders per 100,000
But you
people.
never hear about it.
No.
You never hear about
No.
it. I mean, people don't even know what
It's
country
in
you're
Honduras.
talking about.
It's not Tel Aviv.
Exactly.
It's not Jerusalem. It's not even
What does that tell you?
steroid.
What does that tell you?
It's
What
in
does that tell you?
Honduras. Okay?
Because
That's
of
what we
our,
talked
because
about
of our
before.
God, because of our God. He says
Exactly.
one day he will come back, and he will come, and we'll have a new Jerusalem will come down from heaven.
God is not going to let anything happen to Israel.
Absolutely, no
But,
question about it.
that does not mean that we need to sit on our duffs. We cannot be, enough is enough.
Right.
Enough is enough. Paris is a reminder of that. San Bernardino, California is a reminder of that. Enough is enough. We cannot remain silent as Christians. Did Samuel remain silent in front of Saul when he called Agag in? No. Did Moses remain silent? Did Paul remain silent? No.
It's a time to speak up. I think we'd all
We
agree with
have
that.
to speak up. And through our nonprofit, we are. That's
Do you
what
know
we're
what I
doing.
find so unique, Tom, about that one backpack? I carry that backpack, not for protection, but it's so unique. It's got so many places to put things, and down at the bottom of it, you can actually put a cold drink in it, and the kids can keep their
What we
keep
did
their drinks
was
cold.
we designed it so a school
Yeah.
child that wants to carry a lunch has a thermal
That's something,
compartment.
man. You want one,
And you
man?
can, if you're out riding a bike or you're walking, you can put your lunch, you can put your water, you can put anything in there. It has so many compartments. You can carry your laptop.
I carry
It's
it.
got a compartment for your cell phone, headphones. So
That's great, and they're showing some pictures of that on screen.
Wow.
And I also want to go back to what you said too about feeling safe in Israel, and because this is great what you're doing, but I want to be real sure that we're not playing into kind of the media stereotype that
We're not.
Israel's a complete war zone and
No.
it's unsafe to go there because of course if you've been watching previous programs, we very much encourage you to go support Israel, go
Absolutely.
visit and all that. But part of the reason it's so safe is because of great Israeli technology, not just in bulletproof backpacks and things like this that you're doing, but you mentioned the alarms that even if it's a short amount of time, give people warning. And,
That's right.
And the great things that they're doing in security there. But I also, while we're talking about the backpack, I know that you brought a little video along with you. And
Yes.
so I want to just show this short clip that kind of highlights the backpack here. That is awesome. So this thing really works.
that was shot with a 9mm Uzi, automatic.
Wow.
Stopped
Those
every
little things we were looking at the end were
crushes-
bullets.
That's the bullet, 9mm bullet.
That's amazing, huh?
Yes.
Amazing.
Now,
And let me just explain. Everybody who buys a backpack or contributes a backpack, we have a brochure that explains to them the instructions of use. Frontal threat, back threat. We never tell the person to engage in the person doing the shooting. It is purely protection.
Right.
It also gives the ballistic specifications in here. Fully informational, comes with every backpack. And like I said, our goal is to not overstate that Israel is in total turmoil.
Something
It's-
like that could be used very easily here in America with our young
Ex-
people.
it will-
By walking down the streets.
we are
Everybody's
look-
got a backpack now.
The company that we buy from is actually stepping it up because of the things that happen in schools. Columbine.
I can see how that can be used, can't you? Absolutely, right here in our own country.
Absolutely. And we're willing to do that. A life is a life is a life, Earl, no matter where it is.
Right.
And we're interested in protecting life. And unfortunately, we have what we have near Gaza. And our whole goal is just to bring help and peace of mind to those parents who are getting up in the morning.
I think that's primarily basically
Peace
what
of
it is,
mind.
a peace of mind that you give people, whether it's here in the States, whether it's in Israel, wherever you're using it. I know if I had, I did have many years ago before you were born, I had children, and having children's children.
Right.
But I would feel very good having one of my great-grandchildren and my grandchildren use one of those to go to school. I'm serious, because it doesn't look like anything that's you would be involved with the.
And really, the cost is it's made out of very fine nylon material, and when you look at some of the name brand backpacks, really the cost is very reasonable because of the technology that's been developed.
What is the cost? I mean,
$200.
Wow.
Delivered. Let me tell you how the Lord answered our prayer. Let me tell you how the Lord answered our prayer.
Well, now, it had to be quick because we only got about 2 minutes.
Okay, let me just wrap up this way.
right.
In Israel, there's a standards institute, and everything from a big pin to a sucker has to go through that because of what Israel faces in the world. They have to be very cautious of what they receive.
Sure.
And there's a VAT tax, which it's called value-added tax. We were excused from the Standards Institute because of the trade negotiations between Israel and American-made products, and the VAT tax was lifted. So we were able to take those funds, buy more backpacks, and now we do not have to pay any VAT tax going into the state of Israel,
Great.
which allows us to buy more backpacks and ship them in.
Oh, that's
Are they
awesome.
available here in America?
They are available
So is
here
that
in
my
America.
backpack you're holding right
No,
there?
that's
the black
fine. I'm
one?
going to Washington tomorrow.
No, no, you get the-
I'm going to Chicago.
Earl,
Earl, you
we're gonna outfit Earl in our newest model, which is
Oh my
camo.
goodness, in the night.
He can hide behind any tree or bush and never be noticed.
Can you believe it?
Now, if somebody wants to get one of those, is there a website they can go to?
Yes,
or how
they can go.
find out?
They can go to our website, which is www.theshieldofdavid.org, and we'll be happy to help them out.
All right, well, go ahead and do that right now. And thank you so much for being with us on the program. Very informative. I hope you enjoyed the program as well. And I want to remind you, TCT needs your support. Continue to pray for us. Continue to support us financially. You can send your very best love gift to TCT at P.O. Box 1010, Marion, Illinois 62959. And if you're watching in Canada today, you can write to TCT, P.O. Box 1220, Fort Erie, Ontario, L2A 5Y2, or anywhere in the world. You can give a secure donation right online at www.tct.tv, but we would appreciate your support so much. Do it today. Get that love gift in the ground. And thank you guys again so much for being with us.
Thank
you
you.
for tuning in and watching. We'll see you next time on Rejoice.
Yeah, and can I have my backpack back while we're sitting here?
We hope you have enjoyed Rejoice. Garth and Tina want you to be a partner in this ministry. Please send your best love gift today to TCT, P.O. Box 1010, Marion, Illinois 62959. In Canada, please send your best love gift today to TCT, P.O. Box 1220, Fort Erie, Ontario, L2A 5Y2. This has been a TCT production.